part of the Texas Hill Country, and you're listening to Eat, Play, Live with me, Andi P, the show that's chasing dreams and crushing goals. My goal here is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. And you may notice tonight a little bit of background noise as we are doing this show outside from the beautiful Round Rock, Texas. Yes, taking the show on the road once again. But you'll find out why we're outside in just a little bit. But if you hear wind noise or anything like that, you'll understand that is the reason for that tonight. Our focus for this year, learning to love ourselves unconditionally. And what we're going to look at tonight is how nature and connecting with nature, hence being outside, can help us to do that. Because the thing is, in nature, as with us, nothing is perfect, and yet everything is perfect. You know, look at a tree or a big wildflowers. Oh my gosh, I saw bluebonnets blooming yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yes, I was driving from Houston to Austin, and there are bluebonnets already on the side of the road. They are coming, honey, so get ready. But think about a tree and the way a tree grows. Any tree. There are no two that are the same. What would be perfect? What would be a perfect tree? Would it be perfectly symmetrical? Would it not have any bumps, any lumps, any branches that grew willy-nilly here and there? Would the leaves all fall at exactly the same time or all grow at exactly the same rate? Of course not. That's ridiculous, right? And we love trees. You love trees, right? Come on, let's hug a tree. So the thing is, we love the fact that there's so much variety. We love the fact that they're imperfect and that every season they look a little bit different, right? And you may like one season better than another, but it doesn't mean you like the tree any less. So I love thinking about that. Nature has always been very important to me, and I love thinking about that in the sense of, so why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we expect ourselves to be perfect? Why can we not love ourselves completely and entirely if our branches are not growing the way we thought they should? If our leaves fall a little sooner than we thought they should? You know what I mean? You see what I'm getting at, right? So let's take a look as we go through eating, playing, and living, and see how nature can play an important role in helping us to be the healthiest we can be and happy and more balanced in our lives. So let's start with the way we eat. And you know, I talk a lot about food and what foods are better than others, but the overall rule of thumb that is my favorite way of thinking about it is, where did that food come from? Did it come from the earth? Then okay. You know, I mean, maybe don't eat a ton of one thing, because yes, pineapples came from the earth and they're wonderful, but that's going to be way too much sugar if that's all you eat, right? But as a rule of thumb, you are going to be better off if you eat something that came from the earth than anything that it comes in a package with preservatives and artificial colors and artificial flavors, and you get my drift. So let's start with meat, okay? We are the top of the food chain. We are designed to eat some meat. And if you don't eat meat, that's okay. There are things for that, but that's not really in my wheelhouse, so I'm going to talk about meat. Because if you hunt, if you raise animals for their meat, well, there you go. I mean, you don't get any more fresh than that, right? You see where it was and where it ended up, so you know that that is going to be the absolute freshest meat that you can get. So we're not all going to do that. I am personally not a hunter. I don't have anything against it. I think it's awesome, just not making. So that's okay. But so what can we do? Well, let's just do our best to eat the freshest beef, chicken, venison, fish, lobster, octopus. I like octopus. Although, you know, I've been hearing some things about the octopus that make me not really want to eat them anymore, because they're really cool. So anyway, that's another topic. But if it's fresh and it's from this earth, and they have eaten food from the earth their entire lives, right? You don't see cows out. Well, okay, I don't want to get into all that, but you know what I'm saying. They eat from the earth. We eat them. Yes. Okay. This is going to be a good choice for you. Fruits and vegetables, duh, obviously. They're coming from the earth. Now, I've talked in the past about organic versus regular, and my rule of thumb there is if it has an outer skin, like a banana, I'm not going to buy an organic banana because I'm going to take that skin off. So that's just kind of my way of deciding whether to go organic or not. Spinach, yeah, I'll probably go organic because I'm not going to scrub each leaf individually and make sure that there's no pesticide and all that kind of stuff on there. So kind of the rule of thumb. But fruits and vegetables, yes. Now then, the closer to home you can get with your fruits and vegetables, the better, right? Where we live, we're extremely lucky to have farms nearby where we can go and get fruit and vegetables. I mean, it's amazing that you can do that. So when you can do, and when you can't, well, I mean, do the best you can. But I was told, and I have not personally researched this, but I was told that an orange, for instance, that is shipped from, say, South America, by the time it gets to our grocery store, it has lost a huge percentage of its nutrients because somehow in the process of bumping and being bustled around in trucks and boats and whatever they do to get them to us, that causes it to lose its nutrients. All right, I'm not a scientist or a botanist or any ist, so I don't know how that works, but that's what I've heard. So, if you can eat foods that are closer to home, you're going to be better off. This isn't on my list of foods, but it just made me think about honey. You know, we all know that if we eat honey that has been collected close to where we live, that it can help with our allergies because that's the pollen of our area that was used to create that honey. So again, it's natural. It's natural. You don't want to eat a ton of it. Again, way too much sugar, but lower glycemic index than just white sugar. So if it comes from the earth, it's going to be better for you. Now, how about grains? All right, well, let's think about grains. If they're white, they didn't grow that way. Okay, they didn't. They've been bleached and processed. So that white bread, that's not the way it came out. So your rule of thumb with grain is to go for the whole grain. Okay, the process of taking all of that out also strips your grains of their nutritional value. And so that's why I'm always telling you to go for the whole grains, the bread that's got all that stuff in it. And I know at first it's hard to make that switch. If you've been raised on white bread, it's not the same. It's not that consistency, that softness. I know, I get it. But it's time to be a grown-up and put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and eat some whole grain bread. All right, you are not 5. So there we go. Now, common varieties of whole grains. There's some stuff on this list that you probably didn't know. Oatmeal, yes. Popcorn, wouldn't have thought of that as a whole grain, but yeah. Millet, quinoa, brown rice, whole rye, wild rice, wheat berry. Now, I personally have not tried wheat berry. If you have, let me know. I want to know about this. Bulgur, haven't tried that either. Buckwheat, barley, and sorghum. Okay, you know I don't cook a lot, so I haven't used a lot of those things, but that is a list of whole grains. So if you're wondering, okay, where do I even start? How do I know? Well, there's your list. And I will post that on my Facebook, eatplaylive.andy. So if you want to refer back and check that list, you can take a look at what whole grains. Now, if you're buying at the store, you will see, especially cereals, all over the box, they'll put whole grain, right? How often do you see that on your cereal boxes and you think, okay, great, I'm making a better choice because I am buying this whole grain cereal? Well, check the label, read the label, because it also may have a whole ton of sugar that you do not need. So whole grain, yes. Sugar, no. That is going to be your rule. And that is why I say think outside the box. Try to buy stuff that doesn't come in a box. Yes, that's right. Remember, where do you find the stuff at the grocery store? The outside parameter of the store. You walk in, usually to the right, there's your produce right off the bat. Go a little bit beyond that, you got your dairy. Go back to the back, you got your meats. Okay, you see where I'm going with this. Get that outside perimeter. And the frozen food aisle, that's not bad. I mean, a lot of vegetables, blueberries, get my blueberries frozen because I only use a few at a time. You know, you don't want to waste. So frozen food is good. It's better than canned. Fresh is best, then frozen, then canned. Okay, keep that in mind. So, the whole grains, see, they mess this up, that whole perimeter thing, because they can be scattered about the store. Sometimes they hide the bread and the tortillas. Have you noticed that? Like, it should be right there on that outside aisle, right across from the dairy. Let's make it simple, but sometimes they don't do that because they didn't ask me. I would have told them. How about nuts? Nuts are also from the earth, and they're amazing. And yes, they can have a lot of calories. So remember that in the back of your head. But say you're on a road trip and you stop at the gas station and you get some water for your cup, and you bring your own cup because we're not about trying to waste. And anyway, I get off track so easily. But if you want a snack, nuts are a good choice. You can find them at every gas station, truck stop, wherever you might want to stop. And there are a lot of things on those aisles that are not good choices, but they will have an individual package of nuts, and that is going to be a choice that is actually from the earth. Okay, it's in a package, it's from the earth. You know how that works. So we're getting all these foods, and oh my gosh, what about growing your own? Did I talk about growing your own fruits and vegetables? Ooh, yeah. Wow, we can do that. That is totally a thing we can do. In fact, I'm gonna do a little sidetrack, and then I'm gonna come back to gardening as we go into our play segment, because gardening actually is eat and play at the same time. But I want to come back to that because the thing is, if we want to connect with the earth, we have to make it a point to leave the road and seek a trail. You know, we have to get off the beaten path. So as I say that, I see lots of cars whizzing by on the highway, and I think, man, after this show, I'm going to go find a trail and ride my bike. Yes, indeed. Because you know, if I go anywhere, and I encourage you to do the same, walk, run, ride a bike, explore where you are, and explore nature and connect with nature in that way. Also use sunblock. You know, that sounds like a random little side note, but even when it's cloudy, use sunblock. I had some family that was in town this week from Montana, and there was like one day, it was still cloudy, but it was warm enough to be outside and play, and they all got so sunburned because, you know, they've been hiding from the snow for months and months. So there are a million ways that we can move our bodies and connect with nature. It would be nice if right now Mother Nature would quit this bipolar winter spring thing. Like today it's gorgeous, and then tomorrow night it's supposed to be 23, right? Stop already, it's spring break, come on. We need it to just stay nice. And the Leaf Festival is this weekend, the Llano Earth Arts Festival, which is the best festival. If you haven't been, or if you have, you've got to go. Rock stacking, artists come from all over the world. It is amazing, and it's super fun. I love that festival, and I'll be volunteering out there because it is an awesome event. So that's a great way to connect with nature, stack some rocks, explore the festival. That would be, it's going to be so much fun, even though it's going to be a little bit chilly. So let's go ahead and jump ahead and talk about gardening, because I started on that and then I followed 6 bunny trails. So let's talk about growing our own food, but also connecting with the earth in such a special way. Because the most obvious benefit, of course, is that you're out in the fresh air, right? You're working with the earth. But do you know you can burn 300 to 600 calories an hour depending what you're doing? If you're digging, if you're weeding, if you're watering, picking flowers, all those things, you're burning calories, and you don't really even think about it. You just kind of get to go. And I find like it's very soothing to the mind as well. Like weeding, there's something about it. You get those weeds out of there and throw them away, and it's kind of a nice release. But as far as moving our body, it can actually build stronger muscles, stronger bones, because you're doing an activity like digging. I mean, that will wear you out. So there's so many health benefits to doing the work of the garden, but then also the health benefits that we talked about in the food segment, that you're eating the most organic food possible because you grew it in your own earth, your own soil. You know what you did or didn't put on it, and there you go. So you have that. And it also, it kind of gives you a sense of independence and resourcefulness to do that, and I haven't done enough. I need to garden a lot more, but I grew some spinach last year and I was so proud. I mean, I'm eating that spinach like I have really done something here. I don't know, there's something about it that you just feel like, hey, I raised this from the earth and now I can nourish my body with it. So you do want to be careful not to overdo it. We've all done that, right? Where you're like, your back is aching the next day because you've overdone the lifting, the raking, the hauling the dirt out and moving it around, all that kind of stuff. Rocks, if you like to have rocks around the edges of your garden, there's a lot of things you can do to overdo it. So you definitely want to be careful not to do that. Pace yourself, especially if you're feeling strained. Pace yourself. It's okay to do that. There's no competition when it comes to this. It's all about just doing your thing. So as you get older, as we all get older, we may have to change the way we do things. Maybe consider raised beds so that you're not trying to get down on the ground and have to get back up again. There are different things that you can do so that you can do what you want to do. But if you have any kind of limitations, you can totally work around that and just dig in and feel all the benefits of that. Then, this is the other really cool thing. So digging in the dirt can actually lift your spirits. I'm not kidding. So there are microbes in the soil, and these microbes can stimulate serotonin. I'm not kidding. This is a real thing. So you can actually feel, by playing in the dirt, it can make you feel more relaxed and happier. I didn't know that. Did you know that? That's so cool. And it reminds you of being a kid, right? Like making mud pies. Yeah, I just thought it was fun because making mud pies was fun. Who knew that digging in that dirt was helping us to produce more serotonin? But like with playing, we get older and all of a sudden it's not cool to play anymore. Now it's exercise and it's work and we don't want to do that. Well, let's play. Let's dig in the dirt. Let's make some mud pies. Probably won't eat them. I did that a little bit as a kid, and I ate a rock once. Anyway, we don't have to go into all that. But let's connect with nature, okay? Get out, find green spaces. Well, there's a little bit of green where I'm sitting. For those of you on Facebook Live, you can see I am outside, but it's hard to find a place to plug in if you get too much in a green space. But go find a green space where you can enjoy. Find water. Our brains love the water. They do. We love looking at it, hearing it, smelling it, whether it's the ocean or a stream or a lake. You know what I mean? There's just something about it that it just changes the way you feel when you're around water or in water. Swimming in it, there's a way you can play, right? Swim. It just produces all kinds of happy molecules. So go find yourself some water. Get out and watch the sunrise or the sunset. There's nothing like it. Watching the sunrise and realizing a new day has been created just for you to find your balance and be the best you can be, not perfect, but also perfect in your own way. Or the sunset, the way the sun, especially over the ocean, the way the sun kisses the ocean and then disappears until tomorrow. It's so amazing. Find a quiet spot. Get in outdoor space that has minimal sound, is that a word? Minimal sound pollution, okay? Where I'm at right now, I'm sure you can tell in the background, there's a lot of sound pollution. There's a lot of traffic noise, and there were other people around, and there's sound pollution. Get away, find a way to get away from that, and just enjoy the outdoors and the sounds that nature provides for you. Learn about local plants and trees and wildlife. It's really cool when you actually know what kind of bird that is or what kind of plant that is. My parents were always really great at that, and I haven't been as good, but I'm starting to learn, and we have a lot of experts in our area. I don't know if you've noticed, if you're on like the Mason County Facebook group, we have some really smart people that put all kinds of information about different plants, about butterflies, about the insects in our areas. It's amazing, and they love to share if you want to ask questions. It's really cool. So take advantage of that. Just ask. Take a stroll through a garden. Just maybe find a nature buddy, somebody else who likes nature the way you do, and go check it out together. Go explore and find new things and cool things, and maybe don't even have an agenda. Just look and listen and feel what's around you. Try a new outdoor activity. Kayaking, paddleboarding, horseback riding. Take a guided tour somewhere. If somebody else can show you, that's okay. So many ways. We used to do, when I was a kid, I lived in Houston, and we did the Azalea Trail, and I never forgot it. It was such a cool, it was beautiful, and they would take you all around in different houses and different areas and gardens where you would just see these amazing displays of azaleas. It's really neat. It was really neat, and you don't forget stuff like that. One memory I want to share, because this was like one of the coolest nature moments growing up. So I was visiting my grandparents in Nebraska, and they were working at a church camp in the National Forest on the border of Nebraska and South Dakota. And I was thinking it would be so cool to ride a horse through the forest. Like, this went back to my little princess growing up. I would read books. I read a book about a princess that befriended a unicorn. I think that's what was going on in my head, is I was going to go and pretend this horse was a unicorn. But my grandma, who was like the coolest woman on the planet, she went out and saddled up a horse and said, go. And so by myself, I was probably 17 years old, I rode that horse through the forest. Yeah, one of the best moments probably of my life. Just so connected with everything wonderful that nature had to provide. If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere, because it's everywhere. It's all around us. What's your favorite way to connect with nature? There's a million other ways that I don't have time to discuss or haven't thought of, but let me know. Message me. You know where, eatplaylive.andy. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram. I like to hear from you. I like to know that you're out there, and I appreciate you tuning in so much and coming back week after week. So until next week, I'm Andi P, reminding you that nature is constantly inviting us to be who